Hello, in this video, we want to walk you through organizing your content inside of Canvas modules. Canvas modules is where you can store your lessons, files, videos, links. It's really going to be the place that you can deliver content for the participants or the students in your course. Think of Canvas modules as a place where chapters may be organized, units, topics. It's a place where you chunk your course together. So you're delivering the content to your students in chunks. And those chunks would be the Canvas modules. So we're going to walk you through how to create a module, how to edit an existing module, and then, of course, how to add the content to the modules in this video. So the first thing you'll notice on this screen is we're on the module screen in our Canvas course. And within this module screen, we've got 5 modules that have been added already to this course. If I want to edit the names of these modules, I can do so by clicking on the little 3 dots over here. And when I click on those 3 dots, I get a menu that pops up. And one of the options inside of this menu is the edit button. So let's say, for instance, I wanted to edit module 1 and edit the name of module 1. I'm going to get rid of what was there before. And I'm going to type in the new name for module 1. And I'm going to hit update module. Again, think of module names in terms of chapters, units, however you would normally structure your course or structure your content that you're delivering to students in your course. That's kind of the same idea and the same concept that you would want to push out to students inside of these modules. So that's how you would edit an existing module. If you wanted to create a module that's not already on the page, you would just find the blue plus module button up here in the top right corner. Click on that, and you would give it a name. And then you would click Add Module. There's some different features within adding the modules that we won't get to in this video because this video is focused on just the basics. But feel free to check out other videos online or within the Canvas help guides about the prerequisites and the ability to lock modules until a certain date. So I'm going to click Add Module. And when I do that, you'll notice the module is then added to the module list. So that's super simple, creating modules and editing modules. Now the modules are there. Now you've got to start organizing your content into the modules. And so we're going to walk you through how you can organize 3 or 4 different items inside of a module. Now, items are what Canvas calls the files, the links, the pages, and things like that. Your lesson, the content, that Canvas calls those items. And so the best way to begin organizing those items is you're going to want to make sure you select the module you want to work with. And so in this scenario, we're going to work with the Understand the American Flag module, and we're going to add content. We're going to start by clicking on this little plus sign over here on the right side of the screen. When I click on that, I'll have an option to then add certain items. Again, that's the terminology Canvas uses, adding items to the Understand American Flag module. When I select the drop-down box here, I've got different items that I can add. So Canvas offers assignments, quizzes, files, pages, discussion. You can add text headers, external URLs, and external tools. Because we're trying to keep this as simple as possible, what we're going to do is we're going to add an assignment, we're going to add a quiz, and we're going to add a discussion. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add an assignment. So I'm going to select the assignment, and I'm going to choose New Assignment. If you have previous assignments in your course, you'll notice that those are listed here. But if you're starting from scratch, or if you're working in a course that doesn't have a lot of content in it already, you won't see a bunch of assignments listed below. So we select New Assignment, and we're going to give it a name. So in this scenario, we're going to call it Understanding American Symbols, and this is the assignment name, and we're going to click Add Item. So now we can see that the assignment is listed there under Understanding American Symbols. Well, let's say for this module, I've already got it planned out that I know I want an assignment, I want a quiz, and I want a discussion. So in this scenario, I'm going to now add a quiz to the module. And we're going to come back to the assignment page here in just a second. So I'm going to click on the plus sign, just like I did before. And now from this drop down, I'm going to add a quiz. I'm going to do New Quiz, and I'm going to give it a name. So I'm going to call it American Quiz Flag, and I'm going to click Add Item. And when I do that now, the quiz is nested within the module. And I know for sure the last thing I want to add to my module is a discussion. So I'm going to click on the plus sign. And from this drop-down menu, I'm going to choose Discussion. I'm going to do a new topic. I'm going to ignore these other discussions that are already in my course, unless I was wanting to reuse one. And I'm going to call it American Flag Discussion. And I'm going to click Add Item. Now what you'll see is we've got 3 different items inside of our module. And from those 3 different items, I can now select each of these individually and begin working on them. So again, to recap, we created a module, or we edited our module that already existed. The way that we edited the module is we click on the 3 dots here, and we choose the Edit button. And when we did that, we had the ability to type in the new module name. Or I could hit the plus sign up here to create my new module by providing a name here. And then once I had the name in there, I just clicked on the Add Module button, and I could add that new module to our course. Then to add the content to the module, remember I clicked on the plus sign over here to the right, and I started adding different module types, or items, I should say, into the module. The assignment was the first thing we added, then a quiz and a discussion. Another item that I'll mention here while we're in this video is the page. The page is a place where you can add kind of a blank area where you work with that rich content editor. We have a really good video out there that shows you how to use the rich content editor and how to work inside of that. And that's something that I would recommend definitely viewing, as you are working and building modules. But adding a page is going to be like a blank page where you can type content, or you can use that rich content editor to give your students, your participants in the course, really good information, but they're not necessarily submitting anything on that page. The examples we're working with in this video, our assignment, our quiz, and our discussion, those are things that the students are actually turning stuff in. So a page is really helpful when you're trying to get information to students. And again, that information may be text, links, videos. It can be anything that you want to put on the page, but they're not necessarily turning it in. External tool and external URL are powerful pieces as well. But the external URL, we recommend using a page or using an assignment and providing the links on those pages, on those assignments for students to access, because then you can give them information through text and through typing as to what the link is about, what you want them to do with the link, instead of just throwing a link out there for them to click on and then they don't really know how to use the link or what the link is for, those kind of things. And then external tool offers some really good extra features within Canvas. If you're using the external tool feature, there's some good ways to upload your Google Drive files and things like that. But today, like I said, we're just focusing on these 3 basic ones because you can pretty much do anything with the assignment, the quiz, and the discussion, as well as the page inside of these Canvas modules. So I'm going to click Cancel now, and I'm going to jump back out to the module and the items that we have in the module. So as a reminder, we added the Understanding Assignment, or Understanding American Symbols, the American Flag Quiz, and the American Flag Discussion. So in this scenario, I'm going to click on my Understanding the American Symbols assignment. And you'll notice with Canvas, there's a lot of consistency that's in play here. So when I click on an assignment or I click on an item in the module, the first thing that I'm going to do, whether it's a discussion, a quiz, or an assignment, is click on the little Edit button here. So I click Edit. And this is where I'll see that rich text editor or the rich content editor. And remember that this is where you can do anything you want inside of Canvas. This is where you can type your text, you can embed your YouTube videos, you can upload your files, your images. This is your opportunity to really give information to students so that they can digest that information and then submit it or turn it in some way. And that's what I'm going to walk you through here. So again, I'm going to reference that rich content editor video. If you haven't already, I would highly recommend watching that video that really goes into a lot of detail about using this rich content editor. There's a lot of cool things that you can do with it. In this example, I'm just going to show you how you can type text and upload a file, but I want you to realize there's a lot of good information on this rich content editor in the other video that you should have access to with our Canvas resources that we're sharing with everybody today. So in this video, or in this example, we are going to have students review a file, a PDF file, answer questions on from that PDF file here in Canvas. So I'm going to go ahead and give the instructions for the students. So I'm going to say, please review the American symbol document below and answer the questions included on the document. All right, so now I'm going to upload that document to this text box here. So the best way to do that is you're going to click over here on the right side of the page where it says Files. And again, because there's a lot of course content inside of my course, I may see a lot of files and items there. I can just close this up. This course files folder automatically opens. I just want to close it up so I can see the Upload a New File button. When I click on that, I click on Choose File. And in this case, I'm going to choose, here's my American Symbols assignment. This is the PDF that I've got. Now, again, this PDF or this Word document is something that I have on my computer. It's something I may have used in my classroom before. It's something that you would have stored somewhere in your files on your computer, wherever your file management, wherever you do your work from, that's where you're going to have those files. And so when you upload the file, I clicked on the Upload the File button. I chose the file, and then I selected Upload here. And when it uploads into the Rich Content Editor. Now, one of the tricks of this Rich Content Editor is to be able to have the file automatically open for students. And so I'm going to highlight this. And I want that file to automatically load and be opened inside of the Rich Content Editor. So if I highlight that and click on this little link right here where it says Link to URL, one of the tricks in Canvas is the ability to auto-open this file for students. So I click on the Auto-Open button and click Update Link. Now I've got that PDF inside of Canvas. I've got it loaded. I've got my instructions for students inside of the Rich Content Editor. And I'll tell you what, I want to make this text a little bigger. So I'm going to highlight the text and use the font size feature here to make it a little bit bigger and maybe just to center the text there. Okay, so now I've got my instructions, I've got my file there, and then I want to look at some of the assignment settings inside of Canvas. So for this example, I want my assignments to be worth 100 points. If I have assignment groups set up, I would select the group that I want, summative, formative. If I don't have the group set up, I can select here and create those new groups. Submission type is going to be the most important part of this particular example here. We're going to do online submission. And for online submission in this video, we're going to choose a text entry. All I want to happen is I want a text box to appear for students so that they can type in their answers and hit submit. If I wanted them to upload a file, I would choose this upload file option. And by file, I mean like a Word document, a PowerPoint, a PDF. There's different ways for students to submit, but using this online feature is a very common way with the text entry box. I will take just a moment to mention that if you're using the Google Drive or Google Docs in your classroom a lot, we have a video out there showing you how you can use the Google Docs cloud assignment inside of Canvas. And what that does is that creates a copy of the Google Doc for each student. And then those students can then work on those Google Docs and turn those in individually. That's done through the external tool feature. But again, that's available in another video where we reference the Google Docs cloud assignment, and it's very specific to that. So to bring us back here, we're going to do a text entry box. We're going to allow unlimited attempts. So we're going to allow students to submit multiple times. It's not going to be a group assignment. We're not doing any sort of peer revision, and we're going to assign it to everyone in our class. Now, I am going to put a due date on this just so it shows up in my calendar for my students, and then also it kind of gives me an idea of when I want this to be submitted. Students can submit after the due date. It'll show up as late if they've submitted after the due date, but I'm going to leave the available from and the available until blank. I'm not going to mess with those because I want students to be able to access this at any time. So now I'm going to click Save. And when I save the assignment, it'll take me back to kind of a preview screen where I see my instructions, and then I should see the file load here, the preview file. So here's my American Symbols assignment PDF. And this loads inside of Canvas, and on this screen here, this is kind of what the students will see. So here's my assignment. And then down here at the bottom, it shows that it's a text entry box, and it's worth 100 points. So now when my students access this, they'll be able to see the assignment loaded there, and they'll be able to see that it's a text entry box. I'm going to jump back really quick to modules. And now I'm going to work on my American flag quiz. So the same scenario happens where I click on the quiz and I choose the edit button to edit the quiz. Same way that I edited the assignment. Now the first thing that pops up is going to be what we saw before. It's where the rich text editor or the rich content editor appears, and that's where I can provide instructions. So I can say, please take the quiz below. This quiz comes from our review of the American flag we had in class yesterday. Okay, so I'm just kind of giving some content there for the students to understand what this quiz is all about, why we're taking it, where they would have gotten the information, those kind of things. So in this scenario, we had a discussion in class yesterday, and now we're taking a quiz based on that discussion. So I'm going to mess with the quiz settings first, and then I'm going to put the questions in just a moment. So we're going to do a graded quiz here. We've got a couple different options that you can look at: a practice quiz, a survey, an ungraded survey. We're going to choose graded quiz. Here's my assignment group again. This time we're going to make it summative. Do I want to shuffle the answers? So in this scenario, if I check that box, that means that question number 1, answer A, will be different for Johnny than it is for Sarah. The questions are the same, but the answers are shuffled. Do I want to include a time limit? I'm not going to have a time limit on this one, but I could go in and say that it's a 30-minute time limit. Do I want to allow multiple attempts? I do want to allow multiple attempts in this scenario, so I'm going to check the box that says allow multiple attempts. I'm going to keep the highest score, and in this scenario, I'm going to allow unlimited attempts, but I could go and check this box and put 3 if I only wanted them to access this quiz 3 times to be able to take it. But I'm going to allow unlimited attempts in this scenario. And then below this is where I'm going to see what do I want the students to see once they've submitted. So do I want them to see their quiz responses after they've clicked submit? If I do, then I would leave this checked. And then if this is checked, do I want them to see it only once after each attempt? Do I want them to see the correct answers? So like in this scenario, I don't want them to see the correct answers, but I would like for them to see what they marked. It says incorrect questions will be marked in student feedback. So my students will know if they got question 2 incorrect, but they shouldn't know what the answer is on the quiz. It won't tell them that the answer is actually B. It will just tell them they chose C and it's incorrect. So do I want to show it one question at a time? You can do that. That's just personal preference on how you want the questions to be viewed on the screen. I'm going to leave it unchecked in this example. And then we have quiz restrictions, and we have filtering, or we have the require an access code and the filter IP addresses. I'm not going to mess with these in this example, but the require access code is a useful tool where you can go in and require an access code to take the quiz, where you type in what the access code is. And before they take the quiz, they would have to type in that code. And that code can be changed and edited throughout the day if you have different class periods or different students coming in to take the quiz. I'm going to assign it to everybody. And again, I'm going to give it a due date here in this example. So when I'm done with that, I can click save, or what I can do is scroll back up to the top, and we've got to actually put in the questions here. So I'm going to click on questions in the top of this page. And what I'm going to do in this example is I'm typing in my new question. There are other ways to provide questions for quizzes. You can group questions from a question bank that you may have from somewhere like ExamView, from other courses. Those are all very specific, and in other videos we can demo that or show that, or you can certainly set up a time with us to explore that. But for this setting in this video, I'm going to show you how you do it one by one, or how you can create some of your new questions. So I'm going to click on the new question button to begin adding a question. And you'll notice the rich content editor appears again. So in this scenario, I'm just going to have this one called question 1, and I'm going to leave it multiple choice. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is type in the question. All right. So in this scenario, I'm asking how many stars are on our American flag. So I've got now, because I chose multiple choice, 4 different possible answers. So for the first one, I'm going to put 13, 48 as a possible answer, 50 as an answer, and 52 as an answer. Okay, so it defaults to letter A being the correct answer. So here I want to choose that letter C is the correct answer, or the third choice in this example is the correct answer. So for this quiz, I'm selecting 50 as the correct answer, and then I'm going to click Update Question. Okay, now for the next question, I'm going to just have to choose the new question option here, and I'm going to do question 2. All right, and in this scenario, just to show you the different question types that are available, true, false, fill in the blank. You have multiple blanks, multiple drop downs, multiple answers. You have a bunch of different types of questions. In this scenario, I'm going to do true, false, and I'm going to just type in a statement. Okay, so I've got my statement typed in there. And now I'm going to go, again, I can use this rich text editor to add anything else in here if I wanted to. YouTube videos, links, files, anything that I want to put in here, I can put that in this quiz as well. So in this scenario, the American flag colors are red, white, and blue. Is that true or false? So I can choose which answer is correct. It defaults to true here, so I don't have to really do anything there just to make sure that that button is correct there. And I'm going to click Update Question. Now you'll notice I have 2 different questions. The last thing I want to do here is just to show you real quick. We won't actually add another question, but just to show you from the drop-down menu, one of the questions that comes up a lot is how can I have students type in their answers, or how can I have them type in responses? You can use a fill-in-the-blank method. You can use a essay question method. Don't get concerned, or don't think that the essay method has to be like this long essay type setting. It can be just a sentence or two, or just a few words. So using essay question is a great way for students to type in their answers without being able to choose from a list or having to get it specifically like perfect red, white, or blue. It's where they can explain. So essay question is certainly a popular topic for many of our teachers who are trying to push out questions and whatnot. One thing I forgot to mention in creating both of these questions before is you have the ability to change the point value inside of your questions as well. And you can do that over here on the right side. So I'm going to cancel this question. And just to show you about the point value and how you could go back in and edit a question that's already been created, if you hover over the questions and you click on the little pencil here, this is where you can edit those questions. And you can go in and type the text or provide a new point value, those kind of things. And when you're done, you just want to make sure that you click Update Question. Okay? So now we've got the quiz done. I want to make sure that I save the quiz before I leave. So I'm going to click Save. And when I do that, it takes me back to my screen where the quiz was, where we started creating from using the Edit button here. And now I'm ready to go back to the home page and add one more item to the module, or finish editing one more item in my module, I should say. I'm sorry, I should have clicked on the modules button there. And that is going to be the American flag discussion. So when I click on that American flag discussion, you'll see that it's very consistent with before. I can just click on the edit button here. And when I click on this edit button, I'll see a rich content editor where I can now edit instructions, type in instructions, provide information for students to complete this discussion. So in this scenario, I'm going to use the YouTube feature here, and I want students to watch a YouTube video and reply back with 3 things that they learned from the video. So I'm going to type in the instructions. All right, so you see here that I've provided instructions inside of the rich content editor. And now I'm going to take and go in and grab the YouTube video. In this scenario, I know what the YouTube video name is called, so I can just go and grab that information. And I'm going to choose this YouTube external tool inside of the rich content editor. One of the nice things about this tool is you're able to search for different items inside of YouTube. You're able to look for those items, to go in and preview those items. You can have those items inside of your rich text editor so that students don't have to leave the editor to watch the video. So here I search the name of the video, and here's my video that I want to embed. If I click on it, I can actually preview it right here inside of the editor. I would just click on the play button there to preview the video. If I know it's the video I want, I'm ready to embed it. I just click on the embed button. Once that video embeds into your page, you'll see it listed there below your instructions. So again, I'm going to adjust my font a little bit to make sure that it's clear and easily readable by my students. And I've got the video here now listed, ready to be watched after the students go through and read the instructions. Now I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to look at some discussion specific instructions here. So this is where I can allow threaded replies. And threaded replies are just going to be a cleaner way to view what's been posted inside of discussions. So I usually check that box. I like this next option here. Users must post before seeing replies. So in other words, if I'm a student in the course, I have to post my response before I see other people's responses. I won't be able to read all of the other responses and then come up with my post if that box is checked. So I usually check that box so that I get original thought and original ideas from students first, and then they can see what other people have posted. I usually make discussions in Canvas graded, even if I'm not going to put them in the grade, because that way it shows up in our speed grader section of the course, and it's just easy to navigate and read through discussions that way. So I would recommend checking that box, like I said, even if you're not actually going to put it in the grade book. In this scenario, though, I'm going to give it 100 points. This is not a group discussion. This is a whole class discussion in this scenario. You can set up groups inside of Canvas and have certain groups respond to certain discussion topics. And when you do that, if you check the box here, it'll ask you what the group is and how you want them to sign up, or if you want to sign them up. There's different options within group discussions. But we're going to keep it simple and just do a whole group discussion. Here's my summative formative assignment group setting again. We're going to choose formative this time. I'm assigning it to everybody, and we're going to have it due the following week as well. And we're going to click save here. Okay, and now I've gotten the discussion created. Again, it takes me back to the screen that I can edit if necessary. This is a very common feature within Canvas, is the little edit button there. We're going to jump back to our modules once we make sure that we see that we've got the discussion in there and we've got our instructions and everything that we need. So we click on modules, and that takes us back into our module where we were before. Now, the final thing I want to talk about in this video is to make sure that when you are ready for your students to access the content, you would want to make sure that it is the module and the items within the module are published. So you're going to click on the little publish button out here to the right side of the module, and you'll notice when I click on that, you'll see all of your students' work that's been published in the course. So for this setting, my module is published, and then I've got different items in the module, and all of those are published as well. Let's say, for instance, though, that I did not want them to take that American flag quiz yet. I can unpublish that particular item and leave those other items published in the course. You can also reorder items inside of your module by just selecting and dragging the module item inside of the module itself. So the very last thing that I want to show you is under settings in your course, you can see what it looks like from the student perspective. If you click on settings and you click on student view, it's going to take you to the home page of your course, and it's going to show you exactly what it looks like from the student perspective. So in this scenario, I'm going to click on modules as a student in the way that I have this course set up. There's multiple ways to do it, but that's one way. And I want to really show you now, here's the student view from the modules that we created. So you can see that I've got these 3 items to complete as a student. When I click on the Understanding American Symbols, you'll notice from our previous, when we were creating and editing this assignment, here are my instructions. You'll see that the PDF loads. And in this scenario, I chose a text entry box for submission. And so one of the things inside of Canvas that you have to do to get that text entry box to appear is you have to click Submit Assignment. That can be confusing because you may think that you're actually submitting the assignment, but really that's just bringing up the box here to submit the assignment. So here's where students would then type in their answers, and when they're ready, they click this Submit Assignment button. So up here is the file where they answer the questions. So like in this scenario, they may just say like number 1, the answer is A, number 2, the answer is C, and so on. And when they're done, they'll click Submit Assignment. And then when they're ready to go on to the next item in the module, one of the great things about Canvas is you're going to see that you get a little Next button here. And when you click on that Next button, it takes you to the next item inside of the module. And in this scenario, our next item was the quiz. And so if I click Take the Quiz, you'll see a preview of the quiz in there. And at the bottom, there'll be a Submit button here. So let's just say I select both of these and click Submit Assignment. And if I scroll back down, I can click Next to access the next item in the module. If I needed to take the quiz again, I could take the quiz again because that was one of the settings we allowed inside of the quiz the quiz editor. So the final item in the module is that discussion that we created. Again, you can see how easy it is for students to navigate and walk through those items. So in this particular example, they're supposed to watch this YouTube video. If I click play as a student, the YouTube video will play right here inside of Canvas. I can watch that video, click reply to go in and begin posting my answers. So in this scenario, we asked the students to list 3 things they learned from the video. So I'm just going to type in the flag has 50 stars. That's what I learned from the video. Okay. Now I would continue typing, and once I'm done with my other 2 items there, I would just click post reply. And when I click post reply, that will reply to the class there, and it'll show my name, and it'll have the other replies that I would be able to see from other students for this particular discussion. So I'm going to jump back to modules here, and you'll be able to see the student view. And now from the student perspective, I can see exactly what the teacher has pushed out as far as the content and the organization of the material goes.